Can we start? First of all, I'd like to thank you all for your kind participation, especially after the lunch. I know it's difficult, but we are very happy that you gave us this great privilege to be with us today in our session. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tahani Slate. I am the director of the Vicmed project, which stands for the establishment of a navigation line between Lake Victoria and the Mediterranean Sea. And throughout this session, you will know more about this project. A big thank you and a warm welcome also to our participants online. I hope that they are coming. Okay, maybe they're starting. I'll call one of our speakers who should be online now. So a big thank you and a warm welcome also to our participants online. Thank you very much for joining us to this very important event on sustainable inland water transport, history, future, challenges, and opportunities. Please allow me to welcome our distinguished speakers. On behalf of General Mufid Salah, the chairman of the River Transport Authority, we have with us Engineer Ismail Imam. And we have also Dr. Raisa. Dr. Raisa Ada Alogo is the Senior Policy Transport Officer in the African Union. Dr. Raisa came to Cairo especially for one night to join us in this session. So a very big clap and thank you, Dr. Raisa. In a few minutes, we will have with us Dr. Victoria Ivanova. Dr. Victoria Ivanova is the Secretary of the Working Party on Inland Water Transport in the UNECE, who is joining us online. And we will be welcoming her very, very soon. Please also allow me to acknowledge also Dr. Bernard Zwanda, who is our Director for Transport in COMESA. I hope also that he will join very briefly. Last but not least, please welcome Dr. Ashraf Kotait. Dr. Ashraf Kotait is the transport sector consultant in the African Development Bank. And he also deserves a big applaud because he's coming from Alexandria with some difficult health conditions, but he insisted to be with us. So thank you very much. And without further ado, we invite General Mufid Salah, represented by Engineer Ismail Imam, to give some welcome remarks. تفضل يا فندم.
Good afternoon. Please, I will speak in Arabic. So, okay.
Please, there's a point of order that we have English, French, and Arabic translation in the room. So if you need any headsets, please feel free to bring your headsets from the back. We have the 3 languages, so we don't have any problem. Raisa, for the panel too. For the panel. شكرا. هات حضرتك headset.
السيدة الدكتورة رايسا أدالوجو، كبير مسؤولي سياسات النقل بالاتحاد الأفريقي. السيدة الدكتورة فيكتوريا إيفانوفا، أنا أعتقد إن هي هتنضم إلينا لاحقا في على الفيرشن. عندي السيد الدكتور برنارد، مدير البنية التحتية واللوجستيات بالكوميسا. السيد الدكتور أشرف كتيت، مستشار قطاع النقل ببنك التنمية الأفريقي. السادة ممثلي البنية التحتية السادة ممثلي المبادرة الرئاسية للبنية التحتية البيسي. السادة ممثلي الجهات المانحة، السيدات والسادة ممثلي لجنة تسيير المشروع اللي ممكن بعضهم يكون معانا اونلاين. بنرحب بجميع السادة الحاضرين معانا، وأتقدم بالشكر لكافة الجهات الداعمة للمشروع، وأخص بالذكر هنا بنك التنمية الأفريقي الذي قدم منحة المرحلة الأولى لدراسة جدوى المشروع، واستمر في دعم هذا المشروع الإقليمي الهام من خلال تمويل جزئي قدره 2 مليون دولار للجزء الأول من المرحلة الثانية للمشروع، وهي المعنية بتأسيس الوحدة الإقليمية للمشروع ودراسة التقييم الاستراتيجي الاجتماعي والبيئي للمشروع. واحنا في صدد دلوقتي تكوين الوحدة الإقليمية. أعلنا عن الوظائف المحلية وأعلنا عن الوظائف الإقليمية، وبصدد عمليات التقييم للوظائف الإقليمية للمشروع حاليا. كما أود أن أتقدم بالشكر لتجمع الكوميسا الذي قام بالتنسيق اللازم بين دول حوض النيل طوال فترة المرحلة الأولى، واستمر دعم الكوميسا حيث قام بتقديم المرحلة الثانية لدراسات جدوى المشروع للاتحاد الأفريقي. قد أثمر هذا الدعم عن اعتماد المشروع ضمن قائمة مشروعات المرحلة الثانية لمشروعات البنية التحتية ذات الأولوية البيدا باب 2، والتي تم اعتمادها خلال القمة الرئاسية الأفريقية في 7 فبراير 21. وفي هذه المناسبة لا يسعني سوى شكر الاتحاد الأفريقي بكافة أجهزته، وخاصة الأوادة النباد، للدعم الدائم والمستمر للمشروع من خلال السيرفيس ديليفري ميكانيزم، ومن خلال إتاحة الفرصة لعرض المشروع في كافة أسابيع برنامج التنمية البنية التحتية البيدا ويكس، وكذلك كافة قمم تمويل البنية التحتية في أفريقيا، حيث تمت مؤخرا الدعوة لعرض المشروع خلال قمة لواندا خلال شهر أكتوبر إن شاء الله بدعوة كريمة من الاتحاد الأفريقي. وأخيرا وليس آخرا، أود أن أؤكد على امتناني للمبادرة الرئاسية للبنية التحتية والتي يقودها فخامة رؤساء الدول الأفريقية بقيادة فخامة الرئيس سيريل رامافوزا رئيس دولة جنوب أفريقيا، حيث ترعى المبادرة العديد من المشروعات على مستوى القارة، والتي يأتي مشروع الممر الملاحي بين بحيرة فيكتوريا والبحر المتوسط ضمن مشروعاتها برعاية سيادة رئيس جمهورية مصر العربية السيد عبد الفتاح السيسي. كما أود أن أعرب عن سعادتي لقيام مصر بريادة هذا المشروع الهام، والذي يهدف بالأساس إلى ربط دول حوض النيل بواسطة ممر منخفض التكلفة نسبياً يكون آمناً وموفراً للطاقة، لتوفير فرص لتعزيز التجارة والسياحة وللحد من الفقر، وتطوير التكامل الاجتماعي والاقتصادي بين دول حوض النيل. كما يخدم المشروع اتفاقية التجارة الحرة بأفريقيا، حيث تعد مصر من أوائل الدول الموقعة والمصدقة على الاتفاقية، وذلك في ظل الدور المحوري للاتفاقية في دعم جهود التنمية في القارة وتحقيق أجندة أفريقيا 2063. وأتطلع خلال هذه الجلسة الفنية تحت عنوان تطوير النقل المائي الداخلي المستدام، التاريخ، المستقبل، التحديات، الفرص، إلى الوقوف على التجارب الناجحة في قارة أوروبا ومد جسور التعاون ما بين الاتحاد الأفريقي والاتحاد الأوروبي من خلال المشروع عن طريق الدعم الفني وتبادل الدروس المستفادة. كما نهدف من خلال الجلسة إلى توعية الجهات المانحة بالمشروع ودعوتها لتقديم الدعم اللازم لهذا المشروع الذي يحقق الأهداف التي نسعى إليها من دعم المشروعات الواعدة التي تساهم في استقرار الشعوب وتحقيق التوازن الاقتصادي والاجتماعي. وجلستنا اليوم سيتم فيها استعراض مشروع الممر الملاحي بين بحيرة فيكتوريا والبحر المتوسط الذي يسعى إلى التكامل الاقتصادي والتجاري والسياحي لدول الحوض، ويوفر ممراً لكافة دول الحوض وخاصة الحبيسة منها. وسيتم من خلال المشروع النفاذ إلى الأسواق العالمية لتقديم المنتجات الأفريقية واستخدام الاحتياجات الهامة. ولا يسعني أن أختتم كلمتي قبل أن أتوجه بجزيل الشكر للسادة أعضاء اللجنة التوجيهية من كافة دول حوض النيل على التوجيه والدعم المستمرين لإنجاح هذا المشروع، ونرجو ونتمنى أن يستمر هذا الدعم في خلال المرحلة القادمة. يعني مرحلة مهمة جدا اللي هي المرحلة الحالية، مرحلة الدراسة البيئية الاستراتيجية، كما أتوجه بالشكر للدولة المصرية الرائدة للمشروع بكافة أجهزتها، وخاصة وزارة التخطيط والتنمية الاقتصادية والتعاون الدولي، وزملائي طبعا بالهيئة ووحدة إدارة المشروع الدكتورة تهاني على الجهد المثمن والملحوظ. وفي النهاية أتمنى أن تكون هذه الجلسة مثمرة وتحقق الأهداف المرجوة منها، وأن يتم التعاون مع حضراتكم للتمكن من المضي قدما في تنفيذ خارطة طريق المشروع المتوافق عليها من كافة الدول. وشكرا.
شكرا جزيلا يا فندم على الكلمة الحقيقة وعلى التقدير، واحنا شاكرين جدا جدا لحضراتكم الحقيقة. بدون هيئة النقل النهري يعني هي الاكزيكيوتنج ايجنسي بتاعة مشروع الممر الملاحي، كان هيكون من الصعب ان احنا نبقى موجودين النهارده مع حضراتكم هنا. I'll turn to English if you allow me. Dr. Raisa. Now with our keynote speaker, Dr. Raisa Ada Alogo, who will share with us an overview on sustainable inland water transport with a special focus on Africa. Dr. Raisa is an economist with a PhD in industrial economics from the University of Lille, France, where she specialized in transport policy and regional integration. With over a decade of experience, she has advised AU member states and collaborated with institutions such as UNECA, AFDB, AFD, GIZ, ITF, and the EU. Her work focuses on advancing maritime transport across Africa, promoting green port development, supporting decarbonization efforts, and reducing greenhouse gas emissions, contributing to the continent's climate and trade objectives under the Agenda 2063 and under the AFCFTA. Dr. Raisa, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Bonjour. Thank you for inviting the African Union Commission. I really appreciate the keywords regarding our commitment is to support our African Union member states. And I'm pleased to join this important session. And first, allow me to thank once again Dr. Tahani. We know each other for so many years, and it's a great pleasure for me representing the Commission, and especially my director, Mr. Kazaura Kamugisha, and we will continue as much as possible to support the continent. I think this is not just a topic, it's not just an occasion, it's an opportunity to discuss an important topic at a time we have key initiatives which need to be implemented. First of all, climate change. Definitely there is a need to focus on inland waterways. That's why we brought that topic here. Okay. So the objective of my presentation Very good, thank you very much. So the objective of this presentation will also be to emphasize about the session which was held this morning regarding the statement made by our policies makers. Yes, we need innovative solutions, and that's why we are here today. My objective will be mainly to brought an historical situation where we come from regarding inland waterways transport system. There is a trade system. There is this cultural exchange between different countries, and especially we have a case study, Egypt. That's why we are here today. Additionally, we also have a Congo, where there is also some reference regarding important initiative on inland water system in Africa. That map which is here, is supposed to guide you exactly about this important topic. What is the Nile? What do we want to achieve? What is the objective to merge this initiative together in this keyword? The next slide will refer on benefit of river transport. What do we want to achieve? Safe, easy, affordable transport system. What does it mean? First of all, we need to improve our air quality. We need to reduce our greenhouse gas emission. We also notice that river transport is very affordable. So we need to have a cost-effective. And we notice that utilizing rivers for transport help to reduce road congestion. Inland waterways in Africa. So I'm going to ask a question to the audience. When I mention the Congo River, where is it based in Africa? Central, West? Central, West. Okay, the Nile River, where is it in Africa? Perfect. The Niger River, where is it in Africa? Zambezi River, I think this will be the most difficult. Very good, fantastic. Africa Great Lakes, where is it? Can you nominate some of them? You have them there. Malawi, what else? Tanganyika, and then, okay, this is what we want. The Africa we want is the Africa we know each other. So I've already mentioned them, so I will not spend my time because that was the exercise I would like to have with you. We have Congo River, Niger River, the Great Lakes, the Northern Corridor, and Lake Victoria, the Nile Lake Victoria. Okay, the objective of that session will also to focus on challenges. Based on my presentation, if I have to ask a question to the audience directly, what do you think that, based on what I listed here, what do you think that is the most challenging to improve inland waterways in Africa? Can you take the micro and give to someone to respond? If not, I will nominate directly. We have different challenges: infrastructure deficiencies, environmental and climatic constraints, safety and security, regulatory, financial. If you have to select, which one do you want to select first? Where you think that this one should be the priority, for example, for Vicmed? Does Vicmed have to focus on mobilizing funds? Does Vicmed have to focus more on regulatory, institutional barrier, or safety, security, environmental, or infrastructure? Please, the floor is yours. I want you to interact with me. That's why we are here. Perfect.
I will choose the first one.
Very good. What is can you explain more?
Because if you invest in a good infrastructure, with robustness, with the efficiency,
Okay.
so you try to push the longer possible the circle life of the project. Okay. And so like this, you have the best option for financing. So good engineering, good construction, good operation and maintenance, this is the key factor for all the projects, not only in this kind of project, for water project, for transport project, for everything. So ship is very expensive. So choose the good solution, the good technology with a good price, but invest in a good infrastructure to avoid infrastructure deficiencies.
Dr. Tahani. Okay, there is another one, just one more, and then we'll continue, please. Can you introduce yourself? I forget to even ask. Please, can you introduce yourself?
Richard Musota is my name. I come from Uganda.
Very good.
Precisely where Lake Victoria is. So the one end of it.
Okay.
I do believe regulatory and institutional barriers is the biggest bottleneck, and it is one that is set to set the stage. Once we have institutions that have a common mindset,
Yes.
that has a common vision, then all the other challenges can be fitted into that. So I do believe that if we are able to fix institutional arrangements and how they will be governed or managed, then we should be able or good to go. Thank you.
Very good. Another one, before we go to the next slide, we are trying to help our sister because she's doing a good job, and that's why we are here. Please. Thank you very much. Please introduce yourself.
Mohammed Youssef from Deltares, the Netherlands. Hi, Dr. Tani. I like to look at it slightly differently because any one of these items can, on its own, can be a bottleneck. But I would like to think on it on, can we create a self-supporting mechanisms that stimulates navigation through the corridor? And if I look at it, what would be the trigger that would invite, let's say, shippers to go into the corridor and such that it can stimulate economy, and then it would be a safer environment, and hence investment will become more. And if I look at this, I would maybe classify the infrastructural constraints as something that physically prevents navigation if it exists, and the existence of stimulant, like do we have a demand center and a supply center at the two sides of the corridor such that we can create opportunities. So this would be the way I would like to look at it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think this is a valuable contribution. And definitely, infrastructure is a constraint. We all know that it's difficult to come from one region to another region easily. We need to improve our infrastructure system. Regulatory, a framework needs to be done. Self-support, but how? Is it the private sector? Is it through different partnership, different investor? This one will be for another topic. So let's continue. So I think sorry. Intra-African trade, that's why we are here today as well. We know that from the beginning I was saying that we need a very cheaper transport. Today it's something very interesting. I was surprised to find it in here in Egypt, because I have the same in my country, and then I was wondering, definitely we need to trade between ourselves. It's very important. I also tested some of your fruit, which are completely different as well, but also very, very good. But how can we make sure that the environment, the infrastructure, the regulatory framework will provide all the necessary for me, for example, to trade between Gabon and Egypt, for example? How are we going to align our vision? How are we going to make sure that it will be easy for Gabon to trade between Cameroon, Congo, or maybe Togo or Mali? This is what we want, but in the regulatory framework, it looks easy, but we know that physically to implement those solutions require a lot of political will. That's why the African Union Commission will continue to encourage EU member states to work together, to implement together for a better continent. The last slide will refer to what we just discussed, opportunities for the development of inland waterways in Africa. Since it's my last time, I will enjoy a bit, so I will do the same exercise, but I want different contributors in that specific station. If you have to choose regarding the selected opportunities are listed, are you going to support the FCFTA? How? Are we going to focus on reduced transport costs and emissions? the natural geography, boost regional integration, access to international, because in Africa, we notice that we are not at the same level. Some are very much advanced, like we are here in Cairo. We can compare Cairo to another country because sometimes it's very difficult. But how can we use those best practices which can serve the rest of the continent? That's why if you have any input, how we can improve in providing those key solutions, I wish to nominate someone. If not, what do you think? How Dr. Tahani has to address those key opportunities? Very soon she will attend the next Luanda Financing Summit, and she needs to mobilize more funds. And whatever will come out through that session will be supportive in the conversations she may have with different partners, because the objective also of this session will also be to not only to focus on the support coming from the AFDB. We have many partners which can be involved in this important project in Africa. As it was mentioned from our first statement that the Vicmed project, those PC projects are very important for our heads of state. We hear about the president of South Africa and indeed also the president of Egypt. So please kindly support our sister, and I think I done my best. So thank you very much for that impressive session. Thank you for following me, and thank you. Merci beaucoup. Shukran.
Merci beaucoup, Dr. Raissa. Thank you very much for the very active and interactive presentation. We are very blessed and honored, and I thank you again for coming for just one day to be with us. This is very, very much appreciated. Well, in our journey, we leave Africa and we will land in Europe now. Where Dr. Victoria Ivanova will lead us through the inland water transport in UNESA region and all institutional, regulatory, and technical aspects in the sector in Europe. Dr. Ivanova has been working in UNECE. Dr. Ivanova is joining us online, by the way. And we are very blessed with this because she's a very, very busy person, but she allocated time. Thank you, Dr. Ivanova, for being there. Dr. Ivanova has been working in UNESA as the Economic Affairs Officer since April 2015. Following her first degree in mechanical engineering in 1992, she obtained a PhD in 1997. She has been working in the inland water transport sector since 1999. And she started her career in the Classification Society as an expert, and later on, the head of the Rules and External Relations Department. She began participating in the activities of the UNECE Working Party on Inland Water Transport in 1999 as a national expert and a member of the governmental delegation. Since 2015, she is the secretary of the Working Party on Inland Water Transport of the UNESA Inland Transport Committee. Without further ado, please let me welcome Dr. Ivanova online. She will share with us Europe's experience in inland water transport. Dr. Ivanova, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for inviting me to this important, very important conference. Thank you very much for inviting UNECE and giving us an opportunity to share the experience of Europe in inland water transport. Could you please start with the first slide of my presentation? So my name is Victoria Ivanova, and in my presentation, I will try to focus on what was said by Dr. Alogo, in particular, the infrastructure and the regulatory framework, the experience that could be useful also on African rivers. And please, next slide. Transport by water is beneficial in terms of safety, reliability, reducing congestion, and better environmental performance. It remains a safe, cost-effective, and sustainable transport mode with still untapped potential for growth as a part of sustainable transport connectivity and is important for the implementation of transport-related sustainable development goals. UNEC member states possess over 150,000 kilometers of inland waterways, and over 20 countries have an interconnected waterway network. The European Inland Waterway Network of international importance spans more than 29,000 kilometers and includes over 400 important ports and terminals. The Rhine and the Danube are the most important international rivers in Europe. There are 4 European river commissions for the Rhine, the Danube, the Mosel, and the Sava. Next slide, please. UNEC is one of the 5 United Nations regional commissions. It was established in 1947 and has currently 56 member countries of Western, Central and Eastern Europe, Central Asia and North America. The UNEC Inland Transport Committee, ITC, has provided the framework for intergovernmental cooperation and agreements aimed at the facilitation and development of international inland transport. There are currently 61 international conventions and agreements under the ITC purview, which constitute the international legal framework and technical regulations for the development of inland transport modes. All legal instruments, strategies, resolutions, and tools of the Inland Transport Committee are of global relevance. Next slide, please. The UNEC Working Party on Inland Water Transport was established in 1956. Its main tasks include maintaining a pan-European policy dialogue on the inland water transport issues, promoting a coordinated development of the inland waterway network, monitoring international conventions and agreements, harmonizing safety and operational requirements, prevention of pollution, and other technical and safety-related issues. As of September 2025, there are 109 resolutions adopted by the Working Party, and I will tell you about the most important of them. Next slide, please. One of the important activities of the Working Party is providing policy recommendations for the sector. The white paper on the progress, accomplishments and future of sustainable inland water transport adopted in 2020 has proposed 8 policy recommendations of both pan-European and global relevance. The first global ministerial conference on inland water transport, held in Wrocław, Poland, in April 2018, brought together 24 countries from Africa, Asia, and Europe, and key players across the world. The ministerial declaration, Inland Navigation in a Global Setting, was signed by 18 member states, both inside and outside the ECE region, including China and Thailand. It has established priority tasks and strategic actions for fostering the role of inland water transport, addressing the challenges of sustainable development of mobility, encouraging investment in the sector, aimed at building and modernizing it, fostering innovations, and promoting the attractiveness of the sector and increasing its competitiveness. Next slide, please. The ITC strategy until 2030 pronounces the committee's vision as a United Nations platform for inland transport to help efficiently address global and regional needs. The platform provides a comprehensive regulatory framework for inland transport and sets the mission for the committee to contribute to sustainable inland transport and mobility for achieving SDGs in the UNEC and United Nations member states. You can see on the slide international conventions and agreements relevant to inland water transport. Those marked with the green circles are in force, and those marked with red circles are not yet in force. The main important are the Aegean Agreement, the Convention on the Registration of Inland Vessels, the Convention on the Measurement of Inland Navigation Vessels, and the European Agreement concerning the international carriage of dangerous goods by inland waterways. Next slide, please. The network of main European inland waters of international importance, the E-Waterway Network, is based on the classification of European inland waterways of 1992. It standardizes waterway parameters for international shipping by defining the maximum dimensions of vessels and convoys that a given waterway can accommodate. It categorizes European inland waterways into 7 classes, and classes 5 to 7 are those of international importance. They have constituted the basis for the main infrastructure agreement, the Aegean Agreement, and related documents. Next slide, please. The European Agreement on Main Inland Waterways of International Importance, AGN, establishes the internationally agreed European network of inland waterways and ports. The number of the contracting parties is now 19. Since 1998, the total length of the network has grown from 27,700 kilometers to 29,000 and nearly 300 kilometers. And the share of inland waterways complying with the Aegean standards has also increased. It is supported by the inventory of main standards and parameters of the E-Waterway network, the so-called Blue Book, which is regularly updated, the online Blue Book database, and the inventory of most important bottlenecks and missing links in the E-Waterway network. Next slide, please. Harmonized navigation rules are essential to facilitate traffic on inland waterways and ensure safety of inland water transportation. The European Code for Inland Waterways, (CEVNI), contains the core uniform rules applicable to traffic on inland waterways, such as marking on vessels, sound signals, waterway signs and markings, rules of the road and berthing rules, prevention of pollution, and other provisions. The rules are maintained harmonized with the navigation rules of UNEC member states and river commissions and applicable at the pan-European level. They are supported by the European Code for Signs and Signals on Inland Waterways. Next slide, please. In 2024, the committee adopted the strategy to decarbonize inland transport by 2050. The objective is to set a medium and long-term course towards the goal of carbon neutrality, enabling parties to deliver on their climate commitments under the Paris Agreement. It provides a number of actions for inland water transport, in particular, assessing the feasibility and potential benefits of mode shift goals when developing national strategies, accelerating accession and implementation of the relevant infrastructure agreements so that intermodal transport infrastructure is developed, enabling a shift to rail and inland waterways. Next slide, please. I would like to mention some general trends and challenges in European inland water transport, which can also be relevant outside Europe. First of all, this is efficiency and safety of IWT operations, such as modernization and construction of infrastructure to accommodate modern vessel types, the increasing role of river information services in traffic and transport management, and using modern technologies on the fairway for safer navigation. Enhancing environmental performance of the inland fleet includes modernization of the existing vessels and construction of new vessel types, transition to alternative fuels and clean energy, model technologies and approaches to reduce air pollution from vessels, and steps towards circular economy principles. Next slide, please. A new, relatively new important activity, the development of automation and remote navigation on inland waterways. It has been introduced in the agenda of the Working Party since 2018 and started with the adoption of a resolution on enhancing international cooperation to support the development of automation in inland navigation. This activity constitutes a part of the committee's roadmap on intelligent transport systems and includes work on the international terminology, harmonizing and developing the ECE legal framework and policy areas for fostering innovations. And a number of pilot projects are being developed and implemented by UNEC member states. Next slide, please. The impact of climate change on inland water transport is crucial not only for Europe but throughout the world. The UNEC member states and working parties are working on recommendation for adaptation and mitigation measures for inland transport modes. In particular, for inland waterways, they include improved management of the network, reduction of the energy use and carbon emissions, new vessel types with reduced drought, provision and exchange of data related to climate change, harmonizing international regulatory framework, and other recommendations. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Another important topic is addressing labor market challenges as the problem of related to personnel is also has a global nature. The topics that are currently under discussion include measures for ensuring social security and equal rights of crew members, digital tools and enforcement, developing of minimum labor standards at the international levels, ways for achieving a level playing field in the sector, improving of education and training, and the impact of automation and digitalization on the sector. Next slide, please. My time is going to the end, so I will tell you very briefly about other activities that could be of relevance for African inland waterways. Promotion of recreational navigation and sustainable tourism. There are a number of resolutions on this issue, and the most important one is resolution number 40, the International Certificate for Operators of Pleasure Craft, ICC, which is officially recognized by 22 countries, both within and outside the UNEC region, including South Africa. And ICC are also likely to be accepted in many other countries. The UNEC maintains database of ICC models on its website. Next slide, please. I would like also to mention the UNDA project on sustainable inland transport connectivity indicators that took place under the auspices of UNEC and implemented together with both ECLAC and ESCWA. This is a tool to enable United Nations member states to measure their inland transport system performance and the degree of connectivity. The e-waterway census is a visualization of traffic volumes on inland waterways, and together with censuses for other transport modes, it allows an international view on traffic levels and is used as an analytical tool for policymakers. Next slide, please. I would like also to mention the International Transport Infrastructure Observatory, which is a web-based GIS platform hosting data on a large variety of transport infrastructure networks, and the Learn ITC platform, which is dedicated to sustainable transport and trade facilitation, and courses are available in 3 languages and they are open to everyone worldwide. Next slide, please. Thank you very much for your attention. Next slide, please. Thank you very much for your attention. I will be happy to provide more details. Please do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Victoria Ivanova, for this very elaborative and informative presentation. We have to learn a lot from the UNEC, and we'll have to learn a lot from Europe. They are pioneers in inland water transport. Yes, Africa, of course, long time ago was there, and inland water transport was there, but now that with the modernization, with AI, and with all the modernization that is happening in the field, I think that more cooperation will be needed with UNEC in inland water transport to exchange experience. Thank you very much, Dr. Ivanova. Because I know that our colleagues online have some commitments, so especially our COMESA colleagues, so I invite Dr. Kinguri Zakaria from COMESA on behalf of Dr. Bernard Zawanda, the Director of Infrastructure and Logistics in COMESA, to share with us the COMESA role in sustainable inland water transport development in light of the EFCFTA. Dr. Zakaria, are you available with us? The floor is yours.
Yes, I'm available. I'm here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I know that you are very busy. We have another important event, but we are very grateful that you are sharing your experience with us, and we want to know more about COMESA and its role in sustainable inland water transport. Dr. Zakaria, the floor is yours. Thank you.
I hope you can be able to see my presentation.
We can see the presentation and we can hear you loud and clear. Please, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sahin. Yes, on behalf of the Director of Infrastructure and Logistics from the Commercial Secretariat, I'm going to make the presentation on Commercial's role on Commercial's role in sustainable inland water transport development in light of the African Continental Free Trade Area. And in the introduction, I want for those who don't have a clear picture of COMESA to know that COMESA was formed in December 1994. Before that, it was called Preferential Trade Area, which had been formed in 1981. And COMESA is a regional economic community, one of the 8 regional economic communities that are recognized by the African Union in furtherment of the African Economic Community. We have 21 African member states of COMESA that have gathered together with the aim of promoting regional integration. And the COMESA's mandate is to promote regional integration through trade, infrastructure, and sustainable economic growth. Inland water transport is a key component of COMESA's transport system with other modes, roads, railways, air transport, and is aligned with the Agenda 2063, the African Continental Free Trade Area, the PIDA, and the SDGs. And the development of inland water transport is guided by Article 89 of COMESA Treaty. The Article 89 is on development of inland waterways. And it states that member states shall promote and develop inland water transport as part of an integrated regional transport system. Member states shall harmonize rules, technical standards, and operational procedures governing navigation and safety. And it also states that member states shall install and maintain cargo handling and navigation infrastructure for safe and efficient transport. And COMESA shall coordinate policies, mobilize resources, and facilitate cooperation among riparian states for sustainable inland water development. Why inland water transport? The first is efficiency and sustainability. Inland water transport is the most efficient, cost-effective, and environmentally sustainable transport mode. If you look at the table down here, you see that to transport a ton of goods, it will cost maybe 0.08 to 0.1 dollars on load, using road. And then for inland water transport, you can see it's the lowest, 0.017. So it is the most cost-effective means of transporting goods. When we talk about fuel efficiency, for a kilometer of road, you use, you use 1 liter to move 400 kilometers when you are using one inland water transport. Unlike in roads where you move 50 kilometers using a liter of fuel. On emissions, you can see inland water transport is, road is 6 times more, polluter than inland water transport. And rail is about twice the level of pollution that is emitted by inland water transport. So inland water transport is the most efficient environmentally most efficient mode of transport. So we also see the benefits of the opportunities for green growth, reduced congestion, lower maintenance costs, and enhanced regional trade competitiveness. When we look at the regional context and potential, as I said, COMESA has 21 COMESA, member states, which 8 are land-ribbed. They are not connected to the oceans. Therefore, the inland water transport will connect interior markets to seaports and global trade hubs. And major inland water bodies in the COMESA region, including Lake Tanganyika, Lake Victoria, the Nile. Then we have the Shire Zambezi, the Lake Malawi, and others provide national infrastructure for developed and governed effectively. If all this were developed and governed effectively, then we could unlock significant logistical and economic benefits for our member states. Therefore, we are seeing that increased investments in inland water transport infrastructure, harmonized regulations, and institutional coordination are key. What challenges do we have in the utilization of inland water transport? These are issues that have been mentioned before by the previous presenters, especially the African Union. We have infrastructural deficiencies. We have inadequate ports, and the waterways are clogged with silt and weeds, hindering navigation. We have had this issue in the Lake Victoria. Then we have regulatory barriers. A lack of harmonized policies and fragmented frameworks create non-tariff barriers and inefficiency. Then also we have limited integration, poor intermodal connectivity between waterways and road and railway networks, which undermines logistics efficiency. Then high capital cost of dredging and maintenance of the water transport infrastructure and service providers. Then we have insufficient investment from both the public and private sectors, which historically shows neglect in the inland water transport development. Investment in inland water transport has been very low. And if it's done to the correct standards, then we can be able to start seeing the benefits that is with the inland water transport system. Then lastly, you need data to be able to develop the inland water transport systems. There's gaps in data, don't know about hydrographic, and also the environmental information so that you can be able to develop systems that are environmentally friendly, that do not, compromise the environment surrounded by the water bodies. Then on the African Continental Free Trade Area mandate and COMESA's role, we know the objective of the African Continental Free Trade Area is to significantly boost intra-African trade, make member states trade amongst themselves more, raise that intra-African trade levels. Then the necessity of inland water transport comes in that it is essential for the African Continental Free Trade Area by reducing trade costs, lower the cost of transportation of goods, and also improving connectivity for landlocked countries, those countries that are not having the benefit of getting connected to the oceans, and also addressing infrastructure gaps and facilitating trade, facilitating movement of people, movement of goods and services. Then COMESA as a building block of the African Union. COMESA will serve as a foundational building block for the African Continental Free Trade Area with its institutional frameworks, which have been developed over a long time, and also the trade achievements between member states, which can be leveraged to implement the Continental Agreement. We have trade facilitation instruments which can be used to ensure that movement of goods and people are more facilitated. Then on the key projects we have and initiatives, we have the Lake Victoria and Mediterranean Sea project, the navigation route. This big project that we are working with our member states and other stakeholders, and particularly member states along the Nile. And this is, this navigation route will connect the Eastern Africa region to the northern region, from Lake Victoria all the way to the Mediterranean Sea, and which is going to serve a lot of member states along the route and raise the level of trade and also facilitate movement of people. Then we are also having a Lake Tanganyika Transport Corridor project, where we are aiming to have port rehabilitation and also introduce roll-on, roll-off facilities. And then also have a collaborative operational framework study so that we can be able to establish a shared vision among the countries involved. That is Burundi, DRC, Tanzania, and Zambia. And also so that we can be able to improve governance and coordination and make the operation along the lake more efficient. Then as a COMESA, we have a regional blue economy strategy, which is a comprehensive strategy that balances economic development with environmental protection for sustainable use of aquatic resources for the region. Then we are also developing a regional maritime policy, which is going to be aligned with the African Union Africa Integrated Maritime Strategy. Then how do we leverage the AFCFTA framework? We'll be able to attract investment since the AFCFTA large market make inland water transport projects more appealing to investors, promising a great return on investment. Because if there's a market, then inland water transport will be able to get more, more utilized, more developed, and investors will be able to get back their investments. Then there is harmonization of regulations. The FCFTA provides a platform for standardizing regulations, which eliminates a complex web of overlapping rules and makes it easier and cheaper to move goods. Then we have also improving logistics, where the FCFTA facilitates the creation of efficient regional value chains in different member states by fostering an integrated transport network that will connect the different regional value chains. And potential benefits, an integrated inland water transport network will lower logistic costs, enhance connectivity for landlocked countries. As I mentioned, we have several landlocked countries in the COMESA region, and inland water transport will be able to come in handy and supporting the movement of goods, especially heavy goods. Then what is the COMESA's strategic role in this whole arrangement, and also with the AFCFTA in mind? Firstly, it's to prioritize coordinated infrastructure investment, align national plans with COMESA's regional strategy and PIDA framework. Also expedite policy and regulatory harmonization, where standardized customs, transit, and safety standards to reduce bureaucratic delays. Also promote PPPs, where we create a favorable environment to attract private investment and expertise. Also, capacity building. We invest in training and skills development for personnel that are going to help make the inland water transport more efficient and more utilized. Then we look at the development of a regional AFCFTA implementation strategy that creates specific strategy to outline commercial transport initiatives to contribute to AFCFTA goals and ensure achievements can be scaled up. What are the opportunities and future outlook? We see integration of inland water transport corridors into the FCFTA logistics chains, expand climate and green finance mechanisms so that we can have more investment in the sector, digitalization of vessel tracking and cargo management to facilitate movement, trade and transport, then PPPs for port and freight investments, regional knowledge sharing and capacity building. We see what will come out of the Vicmed. We can be able to share the experiences with what we'll be able also to do in Lake, in Lake Victoria itself, in Lake Tanganyika, Lake Malawi, the Zambezi River, and other inland water transport initiatives that will undertake, and also to protect the environment, whilst we are trying to make use of the inland water transport systems. Then a position specifically the Vicmed as a showcase for sustainable waterway development. The progress we are making, the experience we are getting, we'll be able to improve as we move forward in looking at the whole inland water transport for the commercial region. In conclusion, we see inland water transport as a critical pillar for sustainable, integrated, and productive African market. We see COMESA as strategically positioned to lead the development of inland water transport by leveraging its institutional framework and aligning with the African Continental Free Trade Area. By addressing key challenges through coordinated investment and policy harmonization, COMESA can unlock the full potential of its waterways for the benefit of the entire continent. Harnessing our waterways is not merely about transport. It is about uniting economies, our member states, empowering our people, and greening Africa's growth. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Now, let us move to the next session. So, it's an honor and a pleasure to invite Dr. Tahani Mustafa Siliet. Today, Dr. Tahani will shed light on the Vicmed project, a flagship inland waterways transport initiative that promotes regional cooperation and integration in the Nile Basin. Dr. Tahani Siliet is currently the Director of Establishment of a navigational line between Lake Victoria and Mediterranean Sea, Vicmed. She held the position of Assistant Minister for International Cooperation at Ministry of Water, Resources and Irrigation, Egypt, and the chair of the African Ministers' Council of Water, Technical Advisory Committee, and head of the Central Department for External Cooperation in the Nile water sector. She has represented the ministry at the technical level in many regional, continental and international organizations, including the League of Arab States, the Union of Mediterranean, UNESCO, and the Nile Basin Initiative as the National Office Director. She's also a lecturer and has many publications in hydrodiplomacy and shared river basin. Please, Dr. Tahani, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Isa, for the introduction. I know that we are approaching the end, but I hope that you bear with us until the end, and we will have a rewarding photo all together. So please bear with me. The presentation, please. Well, since we started this session, we heard a lot about Vicmed. Vicmed is, in short, the establishment of a navigation line between Lake Victoria and the Mediterranean Sea. And Vicmed is a very well-positioned project in the African Union because it is a project under the PIDA, Program for Infrastructure Development in Africa. It is also one of the PICI projects which is the Presidential Infrastructure Champion Initiative, led by South Africa. And here the project is led by Egypt through His Excellency President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, so it's a presidential project. Moreover, we are honored to have our Regional Economic Commission as COMESA. So COMESA is our coordination platform, and COMESA is really presenting a lot for the project. I have a very long list of people and entities that I have to thank for being here and for the project. The African Development Bank, who supported this project since the start, COMESA as well, PICI as well. This is on the regional, of course, AUDA-NEPAD and the African Union. This is on the regional and continental level. But at the national level as well, it's very important to thank our main players here in Egypt because the kitchen is here. So I'd like to recognize and thank Dr. Dua Aurabi in person and in her position in Ministry of International Cooperation. Of course, I'd like to thank the Ministry of Transport, which is locating us now. We are part of the Ministry of Transport, the Ministry of Water Resources and Irrigation, from which the project started, and until now we are steering committee members. We have the honor to have with us also Dr. Mamdouh Hassan, which is our steering committee member for Egypt, and Engineer Ismail, our steering committee member in Egypt as well. Do you have any difficulty with the PowerPoint? A presentation fee. ما بيرجع ورا ما بيطلعش قدام. Voilà. Well, here we are. Good. In order to understand the project, we need to understand first the Nile Basin. I will see from here a little bit, so I'm going to move both sides. In order to understand the project, we have to understand the background, from where this project comes and why is this project existing. In the Nile Basin, we are 11 countries, 5 of which are landlocked countries, and they are namely Ethiopia, Uganda, South Sudan, Rwanda, and Burundi. The Nile Basin has a population of about 257 million people, which represent 54% of the total population in the Nile Basin countries. The Nile Basin extends over 10% of the landmass of Africa with an area of 3.2 million cubic kilometers squares. And unfortunately, the poverty indicators reveal some alarming percentages. 4 Nile countries have poverty rates exceeding 70%, 5 fall between 20 and 40, and 2 have less than 15%. And the landlocked countries tend to be the most affected ones. Accordingly, transport as a crucial factor in achieving the goals of poverty eradication and sustainable development need to be addressed very seriously. The basin faces many challenges, first of which is the need for export markets, and we have been through this throughout the earlier presentations, and also the over-reliance on roads. And the over-reliance of roads have many implications as well, like the high road maintenance cost, like the high transport and insurance cost, poor transport sector performance, and last but not the least, the low integration global competitiveness, which limits the socioeconomic integration and trade and tourism in the region. And based on these challenges, the establishment of a navigation line between Lake Victoria and the Mediterranean Sea can be a solution to these challenges that we are facing. As I have explained before, the project is a PDAPAP2 project. It is a presidential infrastructure champion project, and it is coordinated by COMESA. We have a vision, which is one continent, one river, and one people. What's the real objective of this project? Well, the description of the project that we are talking about establishing a navigational route or a multimodal transport route. This is something that will be appearing after finishing the feasibility studies, for which we are seeking for funds. So it will come at the end, we'll wait for us. So accordingly, this is the nature of the project. So it's a transport project, and this is what I call, I don't know if you know the expression, cooperation beyond the river. It's not cooperating on water itself, but using water as a connector, as a development corridor for the region, to put regional integration on top and first. So the main outcomes are to achieve socio-economic integration and cohesion among Nile Basin countries, to achieve a sustainable, integrated, multimodal transport system, to enhance trade and tourism among the Nile Basin countries, to support economic development, reducing poverty, and to contribute to the development of the river basin countries, especially the landlocked countries, and to tap into their international seas and ports, including the Mediterranean Sea and beyond. So the philosophy of this project is to use the Nile as a connector and as a development corridor to link and to integrate the region together. The project has been through many phases. The pre-feasibility study, it was finished in 2015. And the pre-feasibility study ended by having 5 alternatives. These alternatives are between river transport and multimodal transport. It concluded that this project is a promising project and it needs more elaboration and to have a good feasibility study. Also, through the pre-feasibility study phase, we have also done some promotional visits to the Nile Basin countries and the footprint countries. What we did in that pre-feasibility study led to the feasibility study. Phase 1, which started in 2015 and ended in 2019. The main activities were to develop institutional legal framework, to develop a training needs assessment, and regional capacity building, and the terms of reference for the feasibility study, a detailed feasibility study. This phase, which we are in now, is phase 2, part 1. And the phase 2, part 1 includes the evaluation of alternative selection of the most favorable alternatives, one of the 5 alternatives that have been presented, or another alternative that can be developed later on with the exercise ongoing. We will also have a strategic environmental social assessment, and this is exactly, I'm sorry. Voila, here we are, sorry. The strategic environmental and social assessment, and this is very specifically what we are doing now with the generous fund from the African Development Bank through the NEPAD IPPF to make the CESA. So the CESA that we are doing now is a part of the feasibility study, which has a deficiency in funding, and we look forward, if we have among us development partners, please, we are here to promote for this project, to stand with us, and to give you more details in order to seek the probability to have a continuation of this fund. And also a technical transport economic study and cost-benefit analysis and multi-criteria analysis in order to find the best alternative for this navigation line or multimodal transport line. The phase 2, part 2 will be the EIA for the selected route, and then the detailed engineering, design, and the implementation. It's a long way, but I believe that the Nile deserved to be studied properly, and the navigation in the Nile and integrated the Nile Basin countries, I think that this is an objective per se. Even if it's a long way, I think that it's a journey that we have to make together. When it comes to funds, well, the pre-feasibility study costed 0.5 million US dollars, and at that time we didn't have a fund from any development partners, so we had Egypt as the leader of this project in the PICI to fund the pre-feasibility study. The phase 1 was funded by the African Development Bank, 0.65 million US dollars. It started 2015 and finished in 2019. And now we are in the feasibility study phase. 2.1 million US dollars are 2 million US dollars from the African Development Bank through NEPAD IPPF, and 100,000 from the government of Egypt. And we have a financial gap to finish the feasibility study of 9.6 million US dollars. Of course, the rest is not guaranteed yet. So we need support in this project in order to make it continue. This is the feasibility study and what we should do in the feasibility study. We have the alternatives. We have strategic environmental social assessment, which we are doing now, transport economic studies and technical feasibility study, multi-criteria and cost-benefit analysis for the 5 alternatives, discussions and decision-making, and the optimal alternative will be the outcome of this phase if we finish it as it should be. The problem is that when we finish a study and we don't continue, we have this gap in funding, and the data and the studies that we have done become obsolete and will need to be done once again, and this is a real challenge. The estimated cost is 11.7, and the duration should be 38 months. The capex of the project is from 8 to 12 billion US dollars in order to make it functional and implemented. The operation varies. It's around 3.2 million US dollars, and I will explain why now, because we will have 2 operational units. The market size of the project, all Nile Basin countries will be impacted and benefit from the project. Moreover, its advantages are expected to extend to all African countries through the integration of this initiative with other existing projects. This is the agreed institutional setup. It's headed by the Summit of Heads of States, the Council of Ministers, a technical advisory committee, which we are naming here the steering committee. We will have two operational main units, one in Egypt, the other one will be in Uganda. We name it the Operational Connection Unit, and these are the countries that are involved. All the Nile Basin countries are involved in this project. For now, because of the lean fund and because of the lean also objectives of the 2.1 million US dollars, we have a lean secretariat or a lean OMU comprised of myself, a national project coordinator. We are now in the process of recruiting the regional staff. We will have a regional technical assistant, national procurement specialist. We have Mr. Ahmed here, who is, he's done very big efforts with us. Our financial specialist as well, but he's in the office. Regional environmental experts, regional hydrological experts, and regional socioeconomic experts. The project is very well aligned with the SDGs, especially, sorry. What's wrong? It goes, sorry, excuse me for that. Voilà. So this is the institutional setup that we were talking about. This is the composition of the operational main unit for now. And the project is very much aligned with the SDGs, SDG 8, SDG 9, 13, and 17, and also with the Agenda 2063 aspirations, especially a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and an integrated continent politically united based on the ideals of Pan-Africanism. So our main takeaways are that the Vicmed is a project, is a strong candidate to receive funding to complete the remaining feasibility studies. The Vicmed project contributes to sustainable and climate resilient development. It aligns with major multilateral and strategic frameworks, and we need to secure funds for the feasibility study. Thank you very much, and my email is here if you need any further details. Thank you very much. And excuse me, I will escape for 5 minutes. I am rewarded next door, and I'll come back to you immediately. And Dr. Raisa will lead the way.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tahani, for this very comprehensive presentation. I think now we're going to move to the final speaker, Dr. Ashraf. Maybe you can you help me, please, to put his profile, please? Okay, please, can you put Dr. Ashraf profile? Katet. Okay. Kotet. Okay. Thank you very much. Now we move to Dr. Ashraf Kotet, who will share with us the African Development Bank role in financing projects in the transport sector with a special focus on inland water transport in Africa. Who is Dr. Ashraf? It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Ashraf. He's a senior international transport expert with broad experience across maritime, river transport, container terminals, dry port, and multimodal logistics. He has a proven track record in optimizing operations, strategic planning, integration AI solutions, and managing complex supply chains across sea, land, river, and intermodal transport network. Throughout his career, he has participated in numerous projects with various international entities across the Mediterranean region. As an experienced expert and researcher, he has also been invited as a keynote speaker at many regional events. So, Dr. Ashraf, the floor is yours. Welcome, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. I have a very good news for you. I'm the last speaker for the last session for today, and you are free to go. I'll switch to Arabic because most of the attendees speaking Arabic. We'll start with the AFDB overview and strategic focus. Of course, Dr. Tahani mentioned a lot and discussed a lot of information related to the Vicmed project. I was supposed to be before, so I'm introducing her, so she said a lot. AFDB, general facts, it's founded in 1964, the first multilateral development institution in Africa, 81 member countries. لما بنيجي نتكلم على البنك الافريقي للتنميه هو دوره بس مش مقتصر على التمويل. هنتكلم النهارده على شويه تفاصيل زياده وهتدوني بس العذر شويه لغايه لما بس يجهزوا البوفيه نسمع مع بعض. المقر الرئيسي طبعا بتاع البنك الافريقي للتنميه في ابيجان. عندنا ريجنال اوفيسز او مقار اقليميه في تونس، نيروبي، بريتوريا، وعندنا 42 مكتب للدوله بدوله. في فترات كبيره البنك الحمد لله رب العالمين تم تقييمه ب 3A، وده رقم يعني ده حاجه كويسه، والسيفرال ييرز ورا بعض كونسيكتيفلي ده حاجه كويسه جدا. انه المؤسسات الماليه الدوليه بتقيمه ب 3A، وكمان ان هو الاعلى في العالم في الشفافيه في اسلوب التمويل والتعامل مع القروض. الميشن الفاوندنج ميشن او الميشن المهمه الرئيسيه للبنك انه بيخدم تطوير تنميه ذا هول اوف افريكا، ودي مهمه شويه نركز عليها لان هنتكلم في تفاصيل مشاريع كتير ليها علاقه بالكلمه دي. founding mission حولها تاني to serve the development of the whole of Africa. عندنا في البنك الخطة الاستراتيجية 2024 ل 2033 دي 10 year strategy، اختصارا بنقولها TYS، قائمة أساسا على الفيجن طبعا بتاعتها A prosperous, inclusive, resilient and integrated Africa. ومهم جدا في كل حاجة هنتكلم فيها من هنا لغايه لما اخلص ان شاء الله انتجريتد افريكا، التكامل في افريقيا، ومخصص لها جزء كبير جدا من هذه الاستراتيجيه اللي مبنيه على الهاي فايفز اللي هتلاقوها حضراتكم على الجزء الشمال خالص، لايت اند اب اند باور افريكا، وده بنتكلم فيها في الطاقه وازاي نعيد توزيع الطاقه داخل افريقيا والاستفاده من طاقه افريقيا لافريقيا. تغذية أفريقيا، فيد أفريكا، وده البولر الثاني اللي قائمة عليه الاستراتيجي. اندسترايز أفريكا، إن إحنا نبعد شوية عن كل حاجة المواد الخام، المواد اللي نبتدي نعمر بطريقة أخرى وهي الصناعة والهندسة الصناعية. انتجريت أفريكا، ودي زي ما قلت لحضراتكم مهمة جدا، وهنتكلم على تفاصيل مشاريع أكثر تفصيلا بعد شوية. وآخر واحدة طبعا الجوع، البروفرتي، ان احنا نحسن المستوى المعيشي لابناء افريقيا. هتلاقي حضراتكم بس مش هقدر اخوض في ده في وقت كتير. اللي يقدر، اللي عايز يصور دي يصورها ونقدر نتواصل بعد كده. مهم جدا نتكلم انه في تقاطعات لما نيجي نتكلم على التكامل. فزي ما الدكتوره تاني مثلا اتكلمت على مشروع الفيكمد، احنا ممكن بنتكلم نقل نهري، بنتكلم نقل متعدد الوسائط، ازاي هننتجريت ما بين الاثنين، ازاي زي ما الدكتوره ريسا اتكلمت الريجولاريتي بتاعت الموضوع ده هنمشيه ازاي، الحدود هنتعامل فيها ازاي. فكل التفاصيل دي في تقاطعات ما بين السيكتورز المختلفه. الفيجن والامبيشن بتاعنا ل 2033 اللي هي ضمن 10 year استراتيجي، استراتيجيه ال10 سنوات. مهم جدا ان احنا نالاين مع اليونايتد افريكا والاف تي سي تي اف اي، ازاي نبريدج الفيزيكال انفراستراكشر ومشاكلنا الكبيره جدا اللي معروفه من اهم مسببات او التحديات او المعوقات للتنميه في افريقيا الانفراستراكشر. فهنتكلم على ده شويه. احنا هنا بصدد نتكلم على النقل، نتكلم على المياه، نتكلم على التكنولوجي، وبنتكلم على الطاقه. وفي تقاطعات كتيره جدا في المشكله دي. الميجر اتشيفمنت اللي حصلت في ال10 سنين السابقه، ابتدينا كنا من 2015 ل 2024 حوالي 19 بليون دولار من المشاريع تم استثمارها في الجزء الخاص بتكامل افريقي. وهنتكلم شويه عن مشاريع زي دي. حوالي 10,000، عدينا ال 10,000 كيلومتر كروس بوردر ما بين الدول، يا انشاء جديد يا رفع كفاءه في مشروعات الطرق. الاستراتيجيك فوكس بنتكلم على الخمسه الهاي فايفز اللي زي ما قلت لحضراتكم. وزي ما حضراتكم شايفين هتلاقي في الطاقه مثلا تم انفاق او استثمار 33.5 بليون دولار. في التغذيه في افريقيا حوالي 24 مليار دولار. في الجزء اللي يهمنا شويه اكتر احنا والتخصص بتاعنا اندرلايز افريكا حوالي 17.4 بليون دولار. انتجريت افريكا 13.4 مليون دولار. وتحسين المستوى المعيشي والغذاء 2.4 مليون دولار. خلال ال50 سنه السابقين حوالي اكثر من 450 مشروع في النقل تم تمويله. أكثر من 30 مليار دولار من القروض والمنح تم إنفاقها واستثمارها. أكثر من 450 مليون أفريقي تم استفاد من هذه المشروعات. أكثر من 40 ألف كيلومتر من الطرق الرئيسية والمحورية والربط زي ما اتفقنا منهم 10,000. 14 دولة أخذت دعم للسكك الحديدية. 30 مطار ومحطة. 16 ميناء. زي ما حضراتكم شايفين هذه المشروعات تتلخص في، طبعا هي تفاصيلها كتيرة جدا الرسمة اللي قدام حضراتكم، ولكنها هي المشاريع اللي بنسميها الكوريدور، ريجنال كوريدورز، اللي تطوير للقارة بالكامل. زي ما حضراتكم شايفين منور بالازرق في النص كده، جايبها من شمالها لجنوبها. مشروعنا ان شاء الله اللي بنتكلم عليه النهارده الفيكمد، الازرق اللي على اليمين. بس زي ما حضراتكم شايفين في 13 مشروع على الشمال. اللي عايز برضو دي واللي عايز تفاصيل نقدر نتكلم فيها، معلش نظرا لضيق الوقت مش هنقدر نخوض فيها كلها. بالتعاون بقى مع الاتحاد الافريقي بنتكلم مع الامم اليونايتد نيشنز يونيسا، بنتكلم على ريجنال ايكونوميك كوميونيتيز. كل هذه المجتمعات تداخليا مع بعض. بنبص بقى لهذه الرسمه. هتلاقي حضراتكم على الشمال 10 مشروعات مكتوبه طبعا بالتفصيل اكتر من هنا. كايرو دكار مثلا ده اللي هياخد من القاهره لجنوب افريقيا في الدكار تحت. الجيريا يعني زي ما حضراتكم شايفين مرقم. بس انا عايز اوضح لحضراتكم ان مثلا 4 اللي احنا بنصدده دلوقتي زي ما حضرتك شايفه وبادئ من القاهره كيلومتر. دي المشروعات المستهدفة في الفترة القادمة. لما نيجي نتخصص الكلام شوية بقى على الإنلاند ووتر ترانسبورت، النقل النهري في أفريقيا، زي ما حضراتكم والأساتذة الأفاضل وزملائنا اللي مش موجودين اللي معانا أونلاين اتكلموا كلهم فيه. أنا عندي شوية تحديات كبيرة، أنا عندي فرص رائعة جدا. طب إزاي نبريدج بين الاثنين؟ زي ما حضراتكم عارفين النقل يعني بنتكلم على 8 سب سيكتورز، أقسام مختلفة. احنا دلوقتي بصدد ان احنا هنتكلم على الانلاند ووتر ترانسبورت. الانلاند ووتر ترانسبورت اهم الاهداف اللي طلعنا بيها في كوب 28 انه الاستفادة من حوض النيل، الاستفادة مش مجرد مية مجرد نقل، لا ده زي ما الدكتور قالت ان الديفلوبمنت بيوند ذا ريفر، ان احنا عايزين نبص للمجتمعات دي والتنمية على جانبي هذا البيزن باستفادة اكبر بكتير. الكومبوننتس الرئيسية بتاعتنا، المكونات الرئيسية هتخدم في الانلاند ووتر ديفلوبمنت اوبورتيونيتيز. الفرص المتاحة موجودة فين؟ انجولا، نيجيريا، تنجانيكا and of course ليك ألبرت. هتلاقي دايما احنا لما بنيجي نتكلم على حوض النيل بنتكلم على الدول مرتبطة صريح والبحيرات اللي ليها علاقة ببعض الأفرع والتفريعات. القيمة المقترحة 7 مليون دولار Continental International Water Transport. ده معناه ان احنا بصدد ان احنا ان شاء الله زي ما الدكاتره اتكلموا قبل كده احنا بنحاول نريز فاندز في بعض المشروعات، من اهمها مشروع الفيكمد عشان نكمل بارت 2 من الفيز اللي احنا فيها فيز 2، وان شاء الله يحصل قريب. وقت ولا؟ لا ابدا. اوكي. عشان الفند يعني. طيب. طبعا زي ما حضرتكم دكتورة هاني طبعا هي الخبرة الأكبر في المشروع، ولكن هو فعلا مشروع واعد جدا، فيه تحديات كبيرة جدا، محتاج مثابرة، محتاج دعم من متخذ القرار، دعم مالي. يعني هنتكلم على حاجات كتير، بس ابتدي الأول إن أنا أتكلم في التحديات الحالية للتنمية للنقل النهري في أفريقيا. وهتلاقي حضرتك الأساتذة استفاضوا في ده. إحنا ما يسمى under developed، المشاريع بتاعة النقل النهري في الأفريقيا، في حين إن إحنا اللي كنا الأول وسباقين وما شابه، ولكن الوضع الحالي بيقول ده. بما إنه كمان under developed بهذه الطريقة، إنه ممكن جدا، ودي الفرص اللي الدكاترة الأفاضل بيتكلموا عليها، أن الفرص متاحة بتكلفة بسيطة، التأثير هيبقى كبير جدا، التنمية هتبقى كبيرة جدا، التأثير المناخي يعني احنا الاقل تاثيرا في وسائل المواصلات الثانيه مثلا. احنا مجرد ان احنا نهتم شويه بالانلاند ووتر ترانسبورت، النقل النهري، 29 دوله هيستفيدوا استفاده مباشره. ولكم ان تتخيلوا ممكن ده يعمل شيفت عامل ازاي في حياه الافارقه بالكامل. من اهمهم طبعا احنا بنتكلم على الانهار الاساسيه، النيل طبعا، نهر النيجر، كونغو، انزمبيزي، وطبعا دكتور ريسي اتكلمت عليهم وسالت، بس الناس الحمد لله جاوبت كويس. بعد كده بنتكلم على البحيرات، بنتكلم على بحيره فيكتوريا طبعا من اهم البحيرات واكبرها، بعد اللي بتربط حوالي يعني كم كبير جدا ومحتاجه ان هي نشتغل عليها تنميه تجاريه، تنميه ملاحيه. وبعدين تنجانيكا، البحيرة تنجانيكا وملاوي. وطبعا حضراتكم عارفين انه الدول الملاصقة على طول والدول الحديثة سيتم الاستفادة العالية جدا 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 من مجرد التفكير في التنمية للنقل في هذه البحيرات والأفرع النهرية. النظرة المستقبلية في التحديات انه التطوير ده محتاج، طبعا هو تأثيره الأهم إن هو تطوير وهو مناسق وموافق لمتطلبات البيئية، فده شيء كويس بيشجع عليه. وزي ما كان في كلام من شوية وفي الجلسة السابقة كمان كانوا بيتكلموا إنه اللو كاربون فاندز ممكن تفيد كتير في تمويل بعض المشروعات الجانبية للمشروعات الأساسية زي الفيكمد وما شابه، في مشروعات هتنشأ لها علاقة بهذا المشروع. اللونج ديستنس فريت ان حضرتك بنتكلم في الاف الكيلومترات بسعر وحده الطن، نقل الطن لواحد مايل اقل ما يمكن من وسائل النقل الاخرى. فالمسافه الطويله ده مهم، والنقل البشري وفتح الحدود شويتين، ففي فرص للتجاره، في فرص للتبادل. زي ما الدكتور ريس كانت بتتكلم في الاول، البضاعه عندنا والبضاعه عندهم في كونغو، ازاي نربط بيننا وبين بعض ونفعل فعلا استراتيجيه 2063 الافريقيه. طبعا كل ده زي ما حضراتكم شايفين بنتكلم على محتاجين تكامل رأسي، تكامل وربط أفقي ما بين السيكتورز وبعضها، وما بين الرؤى للدول والمناطق وأفريقيا بالكامل. بنتكلم على احنا يعني، خليني هجري شوية عشان الوقت، أنا عارف إن أنا اتأخرت شوية، بس بسرعة كده. الاستراتيجي ابروش بتاع البنك الافريقي للتنميه والمبادرات اللي عملتها الاداره في البنك، واحد مثلا زي استراتيجيه المياه، ودي كانت 2021 ل 2025، دي مختصه بالمياه على عموم افريقيا والدراسات بتاعته وكيفيه الاستفاده الاعلى. الترانسبورت بوليسي، سياسه النقل، ودي برضو حاليا بيجري كمان عندنا الانترناشونال ترانسبورت فورم اللي اتعملت منه الدوره الثانيه السنه اللي فاتت، وبنجهز للدوره الثالثه بتاعته، واظن ده مبادره رائعه جدا. حتى هنتكلم دلوقتي على بلاتفورم خاص للموانئ، وده كان امل كبير جدا لكل المتعاملين في النقل الدولي، ده برضو تحت المبادرات دي. الفاينانسنج ميكانيزم، التمويل، ازاي الافريكان ووتر فاسيليتي بتدخل في محاوله زي ما احنا بنتكلم زي في الفيكمد وكده، ازاي هاو تو موبيلايز فند في هذه المشروعات الكبرى. طبعا الفيكمد الدكتوره طبعا استفاضت فيه اكتر مني. اوغندا ترانسبورت كونكتيفيتي، ودي اجريمنت حصلت في 2021 لبحيره بنيوني. كروس بوردر ووتر انفراستراكشر، وده زي ما بنقول لحضراتكم ازاي نرفع الكفاءه للبنيه التحتيه للنقل النهري ومنها والبري، وبحيث ان احنا يتم التكامل بين الدول الاعضاء. بحيره فيكتوريا، كيفو اند تنجانيكا، وده مشروع مهم جدا رابط مع البحيرات الكبرى ومنطقة البحيرات الكبرى، وده على الأقل من 8 ل 9 دول بتستفيد مباشر وغير مباشر. طبعا الدول الحبيسة هيبقى فيه فرص رائعة جدا في تنميتها. الانلاند فيشريز ريفيو ده من 2025 سبتمبر، يعني من شهر واحد، released and highlighted importance of inland fisheries، وازاي التنمية لصناعة الزراعة السمكية ممكن تنمو وتنمي في هذه الدول كلها، زي ما اتفقنا حوالي 27 دولة. الفورم اللي بحكي لحضراتكم عليه ده بيتكلم أو بيختص للموانئ والإنلاند ووتر ترانسبورت على عمومه، وكان له دور مهم جدا، وفي توصيات هائلة طلعت، وفي اتفاقيات اتمضى عليها فعلا خلال الدورة الثانية. غانا فولتا ايكونوميك كوريدور من 25 برضو، ده اخر سنه زي ما بقول لحضراتكم، وده هيفيد دول الساحل كلها، وده مشروع برضو واعد جدا. البحيرات الكبرى والنورثن كوريدور ريجن والربط بينها، والكوماسا مشاركه فيه، والاي اي سي طبعا موجوده. الامباكت والجولز بتاعت كل الانيشيتيفز اللي بقولها لحضراتكم هي الريجنال انتجريشن زي ما اتفقنا، الايكونوميك بنفيت، وده يعني استثمار مبرر من دي 1، ان الفلوس مهما عظمت العوائد اعلى بكثير، والوفورات من التكلفه الكربونيه، من التكلفه في النقل الداخلي للدول الحبيسه، كل ده فهو استثمار مبرر. نقدر نقول انه مشجع جدا للخطوات القادمه، ان هي جرينر الالترناتيف لكل وسائل النقل اللي ماشيه حاليا، وتكلفه عاليه جدا ووقت مهدر كبير جدا جدا زي ما قلنا لنقل الواحد طن للواحد مايل. وطبعا مكافحه الجوع بتنتج عن التنميه الاقتصاديه المصاحبه لهذه المشروعات. الفاينل ثوتس، الاستراتيجيك ترانسبورت اند ريجنال انتجريشن فيجن، احنا رؤيتنا في الفتره القادمه بنتكلم عليه، بنأكد تاني اول سلايد او تاني سلايد اتكلمنا فيها، الهاي 5 برايورتي، وخصوصا انتجريت افريكا اللي بتحقق تكامل بين 29 دوله افريقيه يتم الملاحة وسهولة الانتقال ما بينها عن طريق النهر، ده شيء مهم جدا. المشروعات الكبرى زي اللي بتربط الأنهار زي نهر النيل، الكونغو، النيجر، جامبيا، زيمبيزي، البحيرات الكبرى زي بحيرة فيكتوريا، تنجانيكا وملاوي، كل ده اندر يوتيلايزيشن دلوقتي، وانفراستراكشر ستاديز ازاي نرفع من كفاءة البنية التحتية لهذه المناطق. ازاي؟ وده المهم بقى، وده التحدي الكبير. احنا محتاجين جدا 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 هاو تو موبيلايز الفاندز عشان نقدر نقوم بهذه المشروعات ونقدر نخدم دولنا الافريقيه زي ما بقول في كل مره. اللونج تيرم استراتيجيك لونج تيرم انفراستراكشر اند ريجولاتوري انترفنشن، احنا محتاجين نقعد مع بعض اكتر من كده، نوصل لاتفاقيات نشيل هذه العوائق ونفتح الابواب الحدود ما بين هذه الدول. AFDB البنك الافريقي للتنميه دائما بيحاول ان هو serve the development of the whole Africa، نتخصص في تنميه افريقيا بالكامل. واشكركم ومعلش طولت عليكم. شكرا.
Thank you very much. شكرا جزيلا دكتور أشرف على المداخلة والعرض الوافي جدا جدا لجهود بنك التنمية الأفريقي في مجال النقل بصفة عامة وفي قطاع النقل النهري بصفة خاصة. شكرا جدا لحضرتك. Well, now I know that we are running out of time. We finished already our time, but we cannot leave without asking the floor and our participants online if they have any questions, comments, suggestions. We're all yours. You can raise your hand, whether if you are in the room or online, and it will be a great pleasure to respond to your questions. Okay, I cannot see any hands online. And here, I think that you are tired. Yes, Dr. Mamdouh.
My name is Dr. Mamdouh Hassan. I'm the vice chair. My name is Mamdouh Hassan. I'm the vice chair of the Nile water sector. Mine is a comment rather than a question. I'm just looking for the way forward for the project, for the CISA that is going to start very soon. We need to emphasize on the stakeholder communication and the consultation. We have to use this chance for more in-depth consultation with the stakeholder, different governmental, non-governmental, NGOs, beneficiaries, investors. So we need to have a strong stakeholder communication strategy that we can take it for the next stage for the full feasibility study. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mamdouh. Yes, this is very crucial. This is very crucial and very important to have stakeholder consultation. And this is a very important part in the CESA. And it's very well mentioned in the terms of reference. And with your guidance as steering committee members, I'm sure that we will do this. Well, are there any questions? Yes. Yes, Engineer Ismail, your floor is yours.
هو اسمحوا لي اتكلم بالعربي.
اتفضل يا فندم.
بس مع دكتور اشرف، بس كنا عايزين يعني تاكيد على الدعم للمشروع برضو البنك التنميه الافريقي، لان هو فعلا احنا في مرحله حساسه. يعني احنا بدانا تكوين الوحده، والوحده هتتكون بعناصر، يعني عناصر ما شاء الله. يعني
حضرتك قرب المايك عشان نترجم.
الوحده هتتكون بعناصر ما شاء الله، يعني احنا شامله عناصر كبيره، كونسلتنت خبراء كتير، سواء في مديرة الوحدة أو المساعد أو الخبراء الهيدروليكس. فأنا يعني حرام إن إحنا نيجي مع نهاية المرحلة دي ونقف. إحنا عايزين إيه؟ جو أهيد نكمل يعني. يعني درجة يعني
يعني مش عارف انا بقول رجاء من البنك برضو يعني شويه، بحيث ان احنا نبدا باراليل، ممكن نبدا في فيز جديده ونفس دي شغاله، علشان احنا البادجت اللي متاح حاليا جزء صغير جدا ومش هيتاح غير الدراسه البيئيه الاستراتيجيه. فيعني اتمنى ان بنك التنميه الافريقي برضو يبقى فيه فند يعني يقدر يبص شويه للمشروع برضو اكتر. احنا عارفين طبعا الدعم اللي بنتلقاه من بنك التنميه الافريقي، بس يعني لو توقفنا هتبقى يعني برضو نفس الموضوع بالنسبه للكوميسا. احنا برضو الكوميسا، انا عارف ان الكوميسا ليها جهات منحه كتير تبع الكوميسا، في جهات تبع الكوميسا منحه، ويمكن لسه جاي لنا خطاب من التعاون الدولي ان لو في جهات تبع الكوميسا ممكن تقدر تدعم اي مشاريع. فاحنا قلنا طرحنا مشروع الفيكمد برضو لو الكوميسا، لان انا عارف الاتحاد الاوروبي بيدعم برضو مشاريع الكوميسا كلها. فيعني لو في ممثلين برضو الكوميسا برضو نقدر نحصل على فند، لان مهم جدا ان احنا ما نتوقفش في اي مرحله، لان احنا كونا الوحده. فيعني مش يعني انا شايف ان في احتمال ان احنا نتوقف او الناس دي تنتهي مع نهايه المرحله دي، هيبقى صعب جدا. شكرا يا فندم.
شكرا لحضرتك. طبعا حضرتك يعني كلامك مظبوط جدا، وزي لما قلت وقت البرزنتيشن توقف بعد السيسة هتكون مشكلة، لأنه يعني محتاجين نبني على السيسة، إنما لو بعد شوية والفترة طالت هتبقى السيسة أوبسوليت وهنرجع نعيد الكرة من أول وجديد، ودي مشكلة الحقيقة بتواجه كافة المشروعات اللي قايمة على المنح. Well, if you don't have any questions, I have very small questions to our participants online, and then we will release them. My question is to Dr. Ivanova. How did you in Europe overcome the natural barriers like waterfalls, bridges, dams, etc.? And what are the windows of cooperation that you can open with the African Inland Water Transport Project? Because here in Vicmed as well, we have some natural barriers that we need to overcome, and we need to learn from the experience of Europe in this part. And how can we cooperate in the future? Because we're starting now a communication that I will not let it end. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. I will try to be very brief, and I would like to refer first of all to artificial canals on European rivers that have allowed to resolve problems related to rapids, dams, bottlenecks and missing links, and other natural obstacles through the use of locks, ship lifts, and other hydraulic engineering structures. I would like also to mention the role of the Aegean Agreement that I described before, which has allowed to establish a coordinated plan for the development and construction of an inland waterway network based on agreed infrastructure parameters, thus allowing countries to plan activities related to the development of infrastructure so that the existing bottlenecks are eliminated. And also, I would like to refer to the harmonized navigation rules to ensure safe navigation in case of such bottlenecks, as well as hydrotechnical facilities. Addressing your second question, which is in fact very much relevant, in my presentation, I tried to show some possibilities for cooperation between Africa and Europe on the development of inland waterways, including the existing UNECE legal instruments and documents that could be applied in full or partly or used as a basis for developing the regulatory framework for African inland waterways. I would also mention the possibilities for standardization, a set of technical requirements for vessels, for navigation rules to ensure safety and efficiency. I would also like to refer to the experience of river commissions when maintaining and managing navigation regimes on international rivers. And of course, such technologies as river information services, the application of global navigation satellite systems for safety of inland waterways are the technologies that are widely applied and developed in Europe and that could be also relevant for safe navigation on African inland waterways. As well as the experience of Europe in river sea navigation and river sea vessels, which I hope will be relevant when the project comes into life, thus enabling navigation from Europe to Africa through the Mediterranean, also using river sea navigation vessels.
Thank you very much, and we're looking forward for this cooperation. That would be great. We will start the initiative, and I think that, yes, Dr. Raisa. Thank you very much, Dr. Ivanova.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Tahani. And I will not be very long, just to inform you that in 2010, our heads of state adopted the revised African Maritime Transport Charter. Recently, in August 2025, the charter entered into force. And there is a specific article related to inland waterways transport, which means that we have a regulatory framework. I'm working with the FDB, your colleagues, James Ganga. I'm supposed to send an official request to provide support on the maritime sector. And I will emphasize the need to have a strategy where we can mobilize funds for inland waterways, because this one is my portfolio, and I will still be in touch with Dr. Tahani, how we can merge our effort to support not only Vicmed, but the inland water transport system in general. Please submit.
Thank you very much, Dr. Raisa. Actually, this is an information that we didn't know. So yes, we need some integration on the African organ, because I think that sometimes we work very much, but in isolated islands, and we need to agglomerate and put things together, put all our efforts together institutionally, regulatorily, and so on, under the AFCFTA, because this is now the agreement that is reigning on Saraigne, which is controlling the situation, and then we can move together. Well, thank you very much. Our participants online, if you don't have any questions, comments, we'd like to thank you very much for being there and for sustaining until the end. Our participants here in the room, I would be very grateful if you can come here and we take a photo with everyone who deserves a nice photo because he stayed until 5:10. Thank you very much. This is a real achievement. Thank you very much. And I hope that you enjoyed the Cairo Water Week. And let's meet soon, maybe in Luanda or elsewhere. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.